5774. And we have a new group of holy souls together. One of the souls from last year still around, including the rabbis. We ask permission from the rabbis before we speak. And we're in a time period, we're in a time right now where usually Yaakov Yisrael Wengel, Rabbi usually speaks. And we don't know how he starts off his first speech. He gets up, because people think it looks a bit strange. I actually look strange. That's one problem. So he gets up and he says, you guys think, where you guys come from, I'm the food. Yeah? But where, yeah, he said this line? Value has the same word. Where I come from, you guys are the freaks. So I said this last year, I said, the truth is nowadays the world's got so crazy we're all freaks. But that didn't happen. But this year, what I did was say the music guys, they're the real freaks. And that's what makes them so good. They're special souls who have to deal with an industry that is filled with minefields for the soul. It's the minefields for the neshama. As anyone can look at, anyone who's out there in the music world, it's a real struggle. So what we've done in ashreinu, since it's a special program, I really mean that, it's a program of fortunate ones. You have to think about that a little bit throughout this year. That's a very special way to be in touch with the specialness of where you are, and to appreciate it. So already this time is different. This year I'm speaking, I know a few of the guys now, it's a different vibe, like last time I didn't know you guys. But what you're going to get the next few months, and it's not going to be like every week, because be realistic. But basically, at least every month, we're going to try to bring a different act, thanks to Rabbi Ari Groen. And the Rosh Hashiva, of course, with Yudin. But also we're going to try and appeal out there for some outside support, just make it more financially feasible year after year. So please go people out there who are listening will sponsor or advertise, however they want to go about it, be in contact with me directly. And please God, we're going to have beautiful shows. We're going to the first show of all, last year we started with Barry Lesser. And we'd love to start this year with Barry Lesser. The only thing is, he's not in Israel right now. But we made a request to him and he gave a shout out to you guys, it's on YouTube. And he please God, will be back in the Holy Land. And when he does, we'll get him. Harry Less is the guy who did boycott Israel. Yeah? So we're going to hopefully get him at least one point during this year, we hope. But what's this all about? It's called the Midnightrabbi Mystic Hour. The only reason it's called Midnightrabbi is because I'm the one making a deal out of it. And it's the Music Mystic Hour because I want you guys to attach yourself to something musical that's spiritual and not just stay like the way that we've talked about everything down in my class, like you guys have heard, the media world is feeding us a certain idea of what music's about. But obviously, as the Jewish people, really, even though we're in exile and thank God we're back in the Holy Land, but we don't really have a hold on the whole music scene. I tell you where I come from. I grew up in London, and my uncle and father were at the time where the whole music world was forming itself. In the 50s and 60s, my father opened up the first jazz shop in England. My uncle was one of the first major promoters of Pink Floyd and Rolling Stones, and was their first, organizer for venues where the tickets were 10p, 50p. That's nothing. If you try to go to a Rolling Stones concert nowadays, it's a few $100 if that. So it's an industry which is growing, and my family are a big part of it. But we can see it's also fallen as well because the whole industry's changed, and it's become an industry of corporate business. It's become an industry of performance, which really, because the CDs, the whole music business, the records back in the day, it's all changed. And we have to be real that the world's constantly transforming and changing, just like the industry changed. But to grow up, for me personally, to grow up in the music world, to go to the big venues in London and England and events, and even a few other countries, and meet some of the most famous musicians in the world, hear them and see them live, either by sitting in a box or VIP or whatever it was. It was, I was young, but I was, picking up on that vibe, and that power that exists in that whole music scene is very obviously close to my heart. question is, like, when I became more spiritual, I had a mind journey, like a few of you guys here, like the familiars, you've all heard the story. So the journey that I personally had from, you know, leaving that world a little bit in terms of the, you know, the lifestyle and you know, the business that I could have entered into and didn't, that I was able to seek out a path that, in my opinion, is like, you know, obviously everyone has their journey and no one can compare. I can never be as good a speaker as Rabbi Wengland, and I can never be as good a musician as, you know, one of you guys, but everyone has their, what they've become successful in. And I feel like, for me, like, just attack and make a big journey, a big effort to try to find the spirituality in music as part of my thing. So one of the things I did was look into the music, the Jewish music world, and look for acts which I consider sincere people, role models, people that will inspire, people that when you listen to them or talk to them, you feel like you're, like, you know, with the cool person you can relate to and look up to, and not just someone who's out there in the music business making money out of you and doesn't care nothing about you. And the only reason he's happy to sign something is because he knows he's making more money. It's all his head's into. And he's into the commercialism of it, and into the whole corporate side of it. Even if he says he doesn't want to be and he tries to act like he's rebelling against it, that's also part of the business. You know, like, the bottom line, it's become a bit of a, you know, like they call it showbiz, become a bit of a show. And to find sincere people in the whole scene that are holding on a spiritual level was a big challenge. So we managed to last year host some really good, sincere, talented musicians who I feel good people for you guys to connect to, not just as musicians, but as people as well. And they really blew the guys away last year. And so we're blessed, hopefully this year, to have a similar lineup. But this year we're already starting off with someone different. Not Nissim, not Ari Lesser, but Nissim. Nissim, I want you guys to really spread the word amongst all our friends. Everyone should be here. Right now, this is a pretty good, you know, this is good. But we want the whole place, like every chair, like you had Rosh Hashanah or something. I know he's not the king, this guy, but he's coming as special for us. We're going to set him up. He'll do a show for us, make some space. You know, we have to get it ready before he turns up. And he's gonna blow you guys away because his journey is so powerful. Before he even, like, you know, sings a word, if you look up Nissim, you'll see on the, you know, online, everything's available now, and you'll see that this guy is what mysticism is about. One of the most important foundations of mystical teachings in Judaism, and we all need to know this. It's about turning darkness into light. It's a powerful concept in the Zohar from Shemesh Educational Center, and Shemesh Educational Center we talked about this last year. I'm not going to repeat that whole idea, but I'll just sum it up very quickly. The idea that there's a flow, a divine flow into the world, and in each time period there was needed certain revelations so the Jewish people could stay alive and with it. And we see that one of the most powerful tools is to be able to attach ourselves to the light that's in that generation. And in our generation, where there's a lot of darkness, we need a lot of light to counteract it. So God knew that. Our Creator, the one who made the world, knew where we'd be and is with us, is very close to us. And He knows that we're going through a very dark time. So what's He going to do? He's going to give us certain inspirations that our generation can relate to, and it's going to give us the fuel and the inspiration and the enlightenment in the right way to light up this darkness, to turn specifically the darkness into light. That's the real point. Not just to be very spiritual, run away from the world, but to know how to deal with the world and turn it into light. So Nissim's one of those guys who came from the streets, and you'll hear his story a little bit. Either look it up, or maybe he even talked about it, or you'll hear it in his words. But the bottom line, he's an example of that, and that's a powerful tool to take the music of the world. He's a soul singer, he's a rapper, he's an inspiration. His voice is beautiful, his raps are brilliant, and you know, he's up there with the top rappers, even though he hasn't got to the top of the industry yet, but in terms of his talent and ability. And he is starting to make a name, and we can be part of that process to help him, you know, have a step into Eretz Yisrael. His first time visiting Eretz Yisrael in his life, and he's dreaming about this. We have to understand how excited this guy is. We take it for granted a little bit. I don't know if you guys came to Eretz Yisrael before you came to ashreinu. I assume you all did. Yeah? Guys, you all here before?
I did, yeah.
No, you did?
I didn't.
Okay, wow. So you guys must have been really excited. You can have a little bit of a feeling of like an older guy coming and he's transformed his whole life. He didn't even grow up Jewish and he transformed his whole life to Judaism, to spirituality and truth. And he's coming to Eretz Yisrael for his first time and it's like, heard stories and dreams and we're going to be one of the first people to host him. And it's an opportunity like to get into it, make him feel welcome. And so it's like almost like you could say it's a mitzvah of Nasa Sorkin, which is learning about Avraham Avinu, just passed away, and all his light, or Avram, it says in the Sfarim, there's a light to the Jewish people, light to the world. And we have to like do that when Nissan comes. We have to be friendly and be there and be into the show. And it's going to be a show. He's an artist. He's a talented guy. You'll see. So that's the first act, and it's 17th of November, Sunday night. Yeah, guys, we've got that 17th November Sunday night. We're going to start hopefully around 8 o'clock. And I want the guys to be here before to help set up. And so when he turns up, there's a little bit of a presence, not walking in here by himself, like some of the guys did last year. It should feel like you're anticipating this guy, making effort to make him feel welcome. It's very important. When Yosef Kaduna comes, he wouldn't care if there's nobody there. He'll just walk in, he's a humble guy. He's going to be the next step. So he's going to come Hanukkah. Yeah, so now you're going to ask me, what's his message? His message, Yosef Kaduna, is for me the top of the whole music world. And trust me, I've heard the most unbelievable musicians in my life. I can't even verbalize it. Like the talent I've seen growing up. Some of these jazz musicians I went to, and just unbelievable guitarists and clarinetists, and every kind of instrument. The talent is just overwhelming. I remember one guy like literally taught from the instrument. He was talking on the instrument. There's such people that verbalize words of their music. It's so talented. That's all good. Never too late. So we just introduced this, well, if you guys are turning up, we introduced Nissim's coming the 17th of November. He's about, let's sum up, turning